How's it going, and welcome back to the Marvel Snap deck highlight here on YouTube. Today we're going to be looking at a show and tell deck that utilizes various tools to get more expensive cards into play ahead of curve. Before we dive on into the details, remember, if you enjoy this sort of thing, to like the video, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. I post deck highlights here and other Marvel Snap news and updates a few times a week, and you wouldn't want to miss anything. Let's go ahead and dive on into the details here, starting off with our key cards. These are cards that are very critical to making this deck function that you can't really play it without. The first of which here is Electro. It says on reveal, get +1 max energy, and then you can only play one card per turn. Electro lets you play a 5-cost card on turn 4, and then 6-cost cards on turns 5 and 6, giving us 3 big plays over the course of the game. Wave makes the next turn all cards in both players' hands cost just 4. This can be a disruptive element for the opponent, but it can also let us put a 6 mana card into play on turn 4, which is excellent, again giving us a game where we get 2 6s and 1 5. And finally, we have Jubilee here, who on turn 4, if we don't have either of accelerants, can grab the top card of our deck and put it directly in play, which is incredibly likely to be either America Chavez or another 5 or 6 mana card that gets us a lot of stats for just 4 resources. When we're looking at the top end of this deck, the kind of payoff cards that we have, which ones you play can vary depending on what you want to hedge your deck against and which ones you have available in your collection. I think the important thing to note is you want at least 2 to 3 5 mana plays, because when you play Electro on 3, you want to make sure you have a 5 mana card to play on turn 4, and when you play Wave on 3, you want to make sure you have a 5 mana card to play on turn 5, so you get those 3 big payoffs on turns 4, 5, and 6, regardless of which of these 2 accelerants that you have. As far as the rest of the 6 drops go, I think the only one that's kind of a must play is America Chavez. So the way this card interacts with its rules text is if it would be drawn before turn 6, it basically just floats on top of your deck. So this card has an incredibly likely chance to be pulled by Jubilee, essentially making her 4 mana, 11 stats in a lot of situations. The rest of these can vary depending on what's in your collection or what you're looking to do. The bottom end of this deck, I think Sunspot is one that you definitely want to have. When you have this card on turn 1, it does an excellent job of kind of just soaking up that extra mana, that because our deck has a lot of expensive cards in it, we often don't play fully on curve, and this card takes advantage of that. My other kind of cheaper card here that I don't think is fully necessary to play the deck, but it's nice to play if you have it, is Black Widow. And she's kind of part of a 1-2-3 combo in this deck, which is Black Widow on 2, sticks this Widow's Bite in our opponent's hand, kind of locking them out of drawing a card. Then, if you play Wave on turn 3 at the same location as Widow, she makes everything in both players' hands cost 4, which opens us up to being able to play Odin on turn 4, which will not only trigger Wave, but also Black Widow again, putting another Widow Bites in the opponent's hand and making it and the rest of their cards cost 4, being incredibly disruptive. There's a lot of opponents that end up just conceding to this 2, 3, 4, and I think if you have access to these 3 cards, it's an excellent kind of early game combo to mostly lock people out. At any rate, I've got a few game highlights here that show this deck playing out in a few different ways. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll be back real soon with some more Marvel Snap stuff here on YouTube. So I think any symptoms or issues due to a low player base in matchmaking are essentially a non-issue, because there just aren't players. I think it's ever worth it to do nothing for Infinite. Not usually. Infinite in here is mostly to high roll with things like Chavez. Or did I say Chavez? I meant Jubilee. Limbo is a great location for our deck. In fact, I think Limbo is good enough for us that I snap when that flips up. So I think with them being Nakia and doing nothing so far, I kind of want to hold on to Odin for turn 6 when they're getting ready to spam their handout on turn 7. Yeah. Iron Man with 2 power into Hala is such a bold-faced gamble. Oh, I should sunspot somewhere probably. Got an extra free roll. That's gonna really go poorly for them here. Multiple cards into the danger room is bold. The cameras decided Rowlet needs attention. It would appear that way. Okay, so they have 5 cards in hand. I think we just Odin, right? Into Limbo to make wave happen. Of course, they're already kind of losing here. There could be merit to just leadering. I guess I could Odin mid. And Odin mid would trigger Jubilee, and then I probably win mid. Because it feels like they're playing for Hala plus Danger Room right now, right? It could be right to Odin wave. I wonder if this is a Scarlet Witch getting ready to turn Limbo off. Maybe hoping to end the game this turn? No. Okay. So, if we Magneto here, it potentially pulls these over. It feels like they're gonna slide Nightcrawler and then make another play here for Nakia. So this is kind of a coin flip turn because this grabs random 3s and 4s. So I'm hoping we grab Bishop instead of Nakia and pull him here, and then we win Limbo. I think I stay in for a coin flip towards winning the game here. Although I guess whatever they're gonna play out of their hand, it might not be big as Nightcrawler, so maybe it's not even a coin flip. I'm not playing out a second card from my hand with my last 2 resources because Electra says I can't, for those wondering. I think at worst we're 50-50 to win this, and at best we're a sure thing. They only have 1 card here. We lost that coin flip. I think we're good though. Is that good? All right, pulling Nakia out was good enough. Victory. That was clean. So Magneto was 50 to grab Bishop and 50 to grab Nakia, and pulling Nakia was just enough. Because if we tied here, we were losing this tiebreaker by a lot, thanks to Iron Man. So God bless. Wave into leader, and Sanctatorium flipped up while we have Captain Marvel. I think that's a snap. There's a benefit in snapping early when you have a strong hand. So that way your opponent has to commit to playing the game before they know what you're going to be doing to them. Quite is a decent start for them. Gives every card in their deck +1 power. Black Widow is sweet, so she adds a Widow's Bite to their hand, which says cards can't be drawn from their deck, and then they have to kind of play it out onto the board. So this is a card that's kind of extra good in a spot like this where the Sanctatorium is another limited location. So I kind of already have limited spots to play to, and now the Widow's Bite's going to take up even more. So my opponent elected to do nothing this turn, which almost makes me want to hold the wave. Ruining Titan, or are we ruining the Sanctum? The Sanctum staying up, I think, is very good for us. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and Hobgoblin the runes here. Actually, do I Hobgoblin the runes, or do I Hobgoblin the base? If I Hobgoblin the base, we almost assuredly win this, and then Captain Marvel can slide left to win that, and then we win left and center. This is good for us. Yeah, that looks great. All right, and then we'll Captain Marvel here. And then honestly, depending on what kind of big turn they're setting up for on turn 6, Leader might actually just win this, huh? Oh, you know what? I probably should have Captain Marveled mid, because if they flood 4 cards here in the last turn, Leader could copy them all. Well, they played all 4 this turn, it would seem. And they played out fully because of Sunspot here. So I assume they're gonna concede before the last turn here because they see Captain Marvel's gonna jump over. Yeah. Sunspot on 1 is lovely, and we have Wave into Leader. Sounds great. Odin into Leader now too. One sec. I think we just. I think I want to spread out where my cards are to give Leader the best chance to copy all their stuff. No longer getting my Sunspots a little sad. Then we can safely Leader middle because whatever they play here, he'll mimic back, so we're guaranteed to win that path. Okay. And then, so this is interesting. So Warpath is bigger if one of your locations is empty. Oh, but I guess Hobgoblin actually keeps this empty, right? So if we Hobgoblin into Clintar, this will give them -10 here. See, I think this is an easy snap with the Hobgoblin, right? And then next turn we get to Odin the Leader in the middle. So then we just Odin here, so that way we Leader copy whatever they play in these 2 paths and likely win. It is a very dirty Hobgoblin. This is one of my favorite designs in the game. It's got such sneaky plays in spots like this. Put it back out. Solid. That's sweet. This card's really powerful design. Sunspot on 1 sounds lovely. Wave on 3 also sounds lovely. Okay, we're an Odin away from comboing them with the old Black Widow wave lockout. I think I wave rather than Electro just for the optimism of spiking the Odin next turn. Let's go ahead and Hobgoblin into DC here. You want a Jubilee into Odin. Is Jubilee better than Captain Marvel this turn? She might be. We just Jubilee mid. Of 1 extra mana, so Sunspot's gonna go up to 2, increasing our lead here to 10. It's a solid high roll. Okay, there's a swarm. You just drop Magneto left and call it a day, right? This is a spot where, again, I think we're far enough ahead that if I snap, they concede, but they might limp in for 1 more cube. I think snapping's pretty wrong here. Hobgoblin is pretty good against these decks that swarm the board. Hobgoblin works along with Widow's Bite as well, where it just, like, gums up their board space nicely. So we're up 20 in the middle, and we're going to be up plus 12, 14. We'll be up 20 on the left as well. Shang-Chi hoses us off a little bit here, but other than Shang-Chi, I think we feel pretty good. And these 1-drop, 2-drop discard swarm decks usually don't play Shang-Chi, so I don't think that's a card we even think about playing around. I don't usually have room to play interactive bits like that. Good stuff here. Clean. Victory. We got wave into leaders, not bad here. The fact that boosters are now limited makes the fact that boosters happen at random feel much, much worse. I definitely agree with that. Previously boosters being random was like fine, it wasn't a big deal, but the fact that they added a variance element to it makes it feel really bad. Alright, we just like Hobgoblin left to likely lock that up. There's some risk to playing leader into their deck. Their deck also is likely one that spams its hand on the last turn, so leadering on turn 6 has some value from that perspective, I think. So it feels like we're currently playing for left plus right while punting the center. A Captain Marvel here, and then Chavez right with Marvel to flex probably wins us the game, I think. Oh, snap. A snap here. Depending on what they do, it might also be right to leader on the last turn. We'll see. Like if they play mid this turn, leaving nothing over here, they might be looking to spam here on the last turn. Hell Cow. Yeah, you Ghost Rider that rock, friendo. Subterraneo was not kind to our opponent, Chip.
Higher, further, faster, baby.
Hey, thanks for one of the awesome folks that made it all the way to the end of the video. Remember, if you want to see more stuff like this here, smash that like button. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. I'm absolutely loving all things Marvel Snap, and I'd love to do more of this, and your support makes that possible. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you back again real soon for more Snap content here on YouTube.